Well, that didn't take very long at all. 3 months into Donald Trump's second term, the economy is already shrinking. Shelves are expected to start going empty. My local grocery store hasn't had a single carton of eggs the last 4 times I've been there. And hiring is freezing up with worsening jobs numbers. And as we speak, as I am coming to you today, do not adjust your television. This is a new show. The stock market is again down 2 percentage points once again. So here's what's going on. The American economy shrank in the first quarter of this year. We measure that by looking at the GDP, gross domestic product. It was expected to be somewhere between declining and up slightly most recently. And we now have the final numbers from Q1, negative growth 0.3%. That is a significant reversal from the 2.4% growth that we saw at the end of 2024 under President Joe Biden. It is well below the 0.4% growth consensus from economists. And of course, the Atlanta Fed's GDP Now indicator did expect a decline. It turns out we got one, negative 0.3%. This is the first economic contraction in 3 years for the United States. That's 12 consecutive quarters, roughly. Might have actually been 13. 3 consecutive years of every quarter, the economy grows a little bit, grows a little bit, grows a little bit. And now Donald Trump's first quarter back in office, and we see a GDP decline. This puts us halfway to a recession. And as I said yesterday, we may already be in a recession. Let me explain that. One of the most accepted ways to determine whether we're in a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of GDP decline. We are in the second quarter right now. If you believe, as many economists do, that the economy is shrinking this quarter as well, Q1 we know saw GDP decline. If in this quarter we are in another GDP decline, that means we are in a recession right now. We won't know it until later. We won't know it until, I guess it would be the very end of July. But we may be in a recession right now. Question that is obvious is what triggered it? Well, we saw this massive surge in imports as companies scrambled to stock up ahead of Donald Trump's new tariffs. That short-term panic distorted the economy and now leaves us extraordinarily exposed to the empty shelves that many believe are coming. Trump's chaotic tariff policy didn't just slow the economy, it created the slowdown. Trump promised economic strength and growth, and instead what he has done is spark a contraction. It is no longer speculation. That's what happened in the first quarter of 2025, and now we are seeing the fallout. The 145%, I guess, tariffs on Chinese goods have brought imports to a halt. Bookings from China are down by as much as 60%. The Port of Los Angeles, which handles 40% of imports from Asia, is expecting a 35% drop in arrivals. These are not normal fluctuations. These are crisis level supply disruptions. Trump ran on you won't see empty shelves when I'm president, not like you saw under Biden, even though really the empty shelves were during COVID while Trump was president. But put that aside for a moment. Trump ran on no empty shelves. The cupboards will be full. The shelves will be stocked. But Walmart and Target have already warned Trump directly. If this continues, we will have empty shelves by summer. And we are less than 2 months from summer right now. The most affected import areas, furniture, clothing, auto parts, plastics, and footwear, really everyday goods that people have come to rely on. Prices would expect to go up if we see the supply issues. Small businesses are saying we can't survive if this keeps going. And to add insult to injury or injury to insult, depending on your perspective, the job market is not looking so hot either. Stalling, just 62,000 new private sector jobs added in April. That's the weakest number in about a year. It is half of what was expected. What's happening? Well, employers are hesitating to hire. because they don't know what comes next. Why hire employees to, for example, install products that you're not going to be able to get over the summer, or that are going to cost so much that no customers are going to want to buy them? Wage growth is flattening. Education and tech are cutting jobs. So one economist summed this up perfectly. Unease. Unease is the word of the day. So step back. Look at what we are seeing here. We had an economy under Biden. It was not perfect. We still had poverty. We still had inequality. We still had unemployment. It's a country of 340 million people. To say we figured it out under Biden would, of course, not be accurate. But by most standard metrics that we consider, things were going pretty okay. All of a sudden, the economy is shrinking. Global trade is collapsing. Supply chains are breaking down, and we're hearing panic about empty shelves just 7-8 weeks from now. Hiring has slowed down. Consumer confidence is at its lowest in 5 years. We'll talk about that on the bonus show today. If this were happening under Biden or under Obama, Republicans would be screaming recession, impeach, 25th Amendment on Fox News 24/7. But it's Trump. So they are pretending, telling us that this is all part of some brilliant master plan that's going to work out. I hate to have to be the bearer of the bad news, but this is not an economic revival. There is no long-term gain coming at the end of the short-term pain. This is economic sabotage. And the people who voted for it, the ones who voted for it, are likely to be the absolute hardest hit. And that's what I want to talk about next. Millions of Americans grind or clench teeth at night, and most don't even know it. If you have jaw pain, headaches, there's a great chance you are one of them. Teeth grinding is often caused by stress, and it'll erode your teeth and enamel, and it can lead to some expensive dentist bills. The solution can be a mouth guard. Dentist-made mouth guards can cost hundreds of dollars. That's where our sponsor, Remy, helps. Remy makes dental-grade, professional quality mouth guards with no painful price tag, up to 80% less expensive than what you'd pay at the dentist, and you don't have to go to the dentist for one. Remy's process is simple. They send you an at-home impression kit to mold your teeth. You send it back. Their dental team will make a custom-fit guard. Remy's guards are so comfortable, most customers forget that they are wearing them. I often use a mouth guard when I sleep. It's been a game changer. No more pain during the day. I'm saving my teeth. And with a 45-night satisfaction guarantee, you can try it risk-free. Go to shopremy.com/Pacman. Use the code Pacman to save up to 50%. The link is in the description.